Hello. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Today's Sunday session, I am going to go over my review for the year. Really excited about it because I'm ready to wrap this year up with a bow. I think it's been a really, really good year. I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like it's been a good year. Let me know in the comments if you feel like it's been a good year for you as well. I've definitely had a good time this year. A lot of things were unexpected. A lot of unexpected things happened this year, and I'm going to go through them when we go through my review. And I think that one of the really good things about this year has been I fully leaned into my word for the year. My word for the year this year was power. Let me know what your word for the year was. Drop a note in the comments and let me know what your word for the year was. I'd love to hear your word. But my word was power because I really wanted to feel powerful. I really wanted to lean into the power of storytelling, the power of sharing, the power of believing. I wanted to lean into power of friendship and family and connection and self-reflection, but I also wanted to empower as well. My goal was to empower as many people as I could through quick commuting and also through sharing on this channel right here and to feel empowered myself. And I do feel like I bodied that word this year. Like I really, really do feel that way. So I see somebody said their word was believe. That's a good one. I love that word. Did you believe this year? Hey Martisha, how you doing? Good evening. Hi Thea. Hi Christy. Believe is a really good word. So my word for this year was power. It was actually up on my one of my Notion pages on my goals list for Notion. But anyway, I do feel like this has been a good year, and I'm really excited about next year. But I'm going to say this: I'm always excited about a new year. Like legit, always excited for a new year. I love a clean slate. I love a fresh start. I love the beginning of the week, the beginning of a month, the beginning of a quarter. I just love new beginnings. And I feel like I learned a lot this year about myself, my abilities, and just realized a lot of things this year. I don't want to get too into the reflection because we're going to do some reflection together. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming to hang out with me on a good Sunday evening. I'm going to review my year, my goals for the year. I'm glad you found my channel too. Hey, Winnie. I am going to review my goals for the year in front of you guys. I'm also going to go through some of the things that I shared in my last videos. So if you have not seen them, I did a whole series of videos on prepping and planning for 2025. I have two more videos that are supposed to post. They were supposed to post last week, but we had a snafu with my editing team. So I ended up having to edit all the videos myself. 7 videos, y'all. 7 videos. Anyway, so we posted 5. I've got 2 more to go. And they were all about the steps that I like to take to prepare and plan for the year. So if you have not checked that playlist out, please check the playlist out. I personally like the video. If you don't watch any other video, I think the first one is the best one because it actually just kind of hits on each of the 6 steps. And then the other video I like the most is the one about setting goals, about how to set goals. Like I say, the right way, in my opinion, the right way. Hi, Chance. How you doing? Thank you, Christy. I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear the videos were good. Yay. Yay. Because it took me a lot of time. Today, what we're going to do is go over basically like step 1 in that 6-step process, which is reviewing the year. And that review is going to include just looking at the goals that I set last year for the year, and then doing a gap assessment, seeing how far we are from those goals, figuring out if I'm going to take that goal with me next year. And then I'm going to give myself a score in my 6 life categories and do a couple of journal prompts. So we can do some of those journal prompts together. Y'all finna be in my business today. But I'm going to ask you to share your business with me as well in the comments. If you're just now joining, thanks for being here. Do me a favor, drop your word for 2024 in the comments. And let me know if you feel like you bodied that word. Like, do you feel like you embodied that word this year? My word for the year was power. And I do feel like I embodied that word this year. I really do. I feel like I was in my power, and I feel like I empowered people as well. for the year. All right, let's get into it. Couple things I want to say. I think it's important to do. Ooh, growth. That's a good word. I like that word. Come on, growth. Do you feel like, I hope you feel like you bodied that word. I hope you feel like you grew this year. That's a really good word. Ooh, how you gonna top that? What's gonna be your word next year? You guys see I'm in like my house dress. This has become my Sunday session dress. I bought it in Cape Verde. I was in Cape Verde and I bought this dress and I love walking around in this dress. It's so comfortable. Somebody said their word was change, accomplished, focus. These are good words for the year. I love a word for the year. I'm not a vision board girl for real, but I am definitely a word of the year person. I like to have an overall theme and this goal of like leaning into something or kind of calling in a feeling or an experience. Abundance, somebody else had focus as well. Come on, abundance. Yay, I love this. All right, so I think it's important to do a review. I actually think it's important to do a review before you start doing your planning for the year because it does a few things. It gives you the chance to kind of look back on what you did and didn't do, and helps you identify like what's really important to you. So if you didn't hit those goals, why didn't you hit them? Is it that you didn't hit them because you fell off or because it stopped being a priority for you? And then you can decide if you're going to pull those goals into the next year as well. And then I love doing the journal prompting because it also kind of taps into, I think looking at the goals taps into your actions and activity and performance. But doing the journal prompts taps into your emotions and your feelings. And I think both are important to plan for the year ahead because I think, I don't know about you guys, but I am on a quest, a lifelong quest of self mastery. The one thing that I want in this life is to know myself very well and to master myself. And the whole point of that is to live this one and only life in the best way possible. And I think living this one and only life in the best way possible requires me really understanding myself, what drives me, what motivates me, what makes me happy, what makes me sad, how do I cope with things, how do I grow, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really big on self-discovery and self-mastery. And so I think it's important to do a review, and that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to share my screen. And what I'm going to share with you guys is a Notion template. So this is a Notion template I built for 2024. Have you guys using Notion? Is anybody in here using Notion? Let me know in the comments. Yes or no, you're using Notion. I am working on creating a Notion template to share with you guys for 2025. I was hoping to be working on that over the last 3 weeks, but some things came up that ended up taking a lot of my time and I didn't get to spend time on that. Somebody's word was ease. And you achieved it when you quit your job. Oh, let me come back on stage because I am so happy for you. Congratulations. Somebody said my word was ease and she achieved it when she quit her job. 27/7, girl, that ain't even that many hours in the day. They was doing too much. I love that. Congratulations to you, Winnie. Somebody said it's on their goal list to learn how to use Notion. Excellent. So maybe I will add to the list to post a few videos on how to use Notion and how I've been setting up some of these templates. But I also have a goal to share Notion as well. Now, I will tell you, you don't have to use Notion. Okay? Listen, I have a video coming out about systems to track goals that's coming out late January. I'll give you guys a peek into the content that's coming out in January. But and in there, I just talk about like, everybody's talking about Notion. Notion is like that girl. Right now, Notion is the Beyonce of planning tools. Like she's the one everybody wants. She's that girl. But everybody doesn't like, I don't want people to feel like they have to have the tool to do well. I think that, hitting your goals is really, really about the actions that you're taking. So even if you're doing this in a notebook, even if you're doing this on a spreadsheet or in, Apple Notes or anything like that, it still works. It's really just about you making sure that you're tracking and monitoring. But yes, I'd be happy to share a couple of videos on how I'm creating my Notion templates. I will also say there's so many videos on Notion on YouTube. so many videos on Notion. Um, I'm trying Miro for my goal setting, but the jury is still out. So Miro is a pretty good tool for just for me, it's been a good tool just for kind of brainstorming. So the kind of the thing that I do on the wall, putting up my goals and stuff like that, it's been really good for that. Miro has been really good for just having like a canvas. It's almost like a whiteboard, and I can just mind map and things like that. But if if it's slowing you down, if the tool is slowing you down, then just go ahead and default to pen and paper or a whiteboard or some sticky notes on the wall, because it's more important that you get the thoughts out of your brain, right? And then maybe later on down the line investing the time into learning something like Miro. I'm just saying, if it slows you down, go ahead and learn it. It's a cool tool, but if it's slowing you down, child, that's not the thing that's important. The tool ain't the thing that's important. Oh no, you paid for a course to master Notion and it's been collecting dust. That happens. I think that's happened to all of us. Can we all agree that we have purchased a course in the last year or two and it's just been collecting digital dust? It's been on the digital shelf. It's on your goal list on to learn how to use Notion. I'm really mad I didn't have my little affiliate link ready to share with y'all today for Notion. Another time, maybe I can get Notion to sponsor a video. Anyway, let's get into my little Notion template real quick. So this is just, I'm not gonna give y'all a whole tour, but basically this is just the dashboard. I can see the tasks that I have due this week and next week. But I mainly manage my day-to-day tasks in a calendar app called Morgan. I will be doing a video on that next month in January. So a video on Morgan will come out in January. But anyway, what we're going to do here is go to this annual review. I do want to show you kind of my goals are listed here from last year. And I put pictures up so that's almost like a vision board because I'm not necessarily a huge vision board girly. And so they're all listed here kind of like a vision board because they have photos. And if you'll notice, they're in categories. I plan my life in 6 categories. So career and business, development, finance, health, lifestyle, and relationships. Those are the 6 categories I like to plan in. Let me know if these are categories that jive with you. Do you do that as well? Or are there other categories that you guys like to use? But these are the categories that I like to plan in. And I like these categories because I feel like these categories, oops, let me come back over here because I want to come off. I want to put myself up first. I feel like these categories are almost the perfect categories to reach whole life fulfillment, right? They represent pretty much every aspect of our lives. And I think if you're focusing on your finances, your health, your career, your business, your development and growth is basically educating yourself on upskilling, your lifestyle, which is fun and enjoyment, and your relationships. If you're focusing on these things, and that's pretty much whole life fulfillment. But I do want to caveat that by saying there's just no way for us to be amazing in all of those categories all the time. I think it's just a matter of consistently trying to make progress in each of those categories. And sometimes we'll be better at our relationships, and sometimes we'll be better at finances, and sometimes we'll be better at health. But I think I am always trying to keep these categories in mind because all of these are important to me for whole life fulfillment, if that makes sense. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go back here. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to my little annual review page. Now, I did share, if you watched any of my videos, I did share what do you call it? A template that people can use to do the same review. If you need that, I don't actually have the link. Is Notion used as a vision board and planner in one? Notion can be used for whatever you want it to be used. I use it for a vision board and a planner. As you can see, it's got my tasks, it's got my goals, monthly goals, and projects that I'm working on, and it's got photos to be used as a vision board. You can do whatever you want with Notion. I think the beauty, the gift and the curse of Notion is you can do anything in it. It's wonderful for someone that loves to create It's great for that. Like if you're into digging into a system that's completely a blank canvas and creating something new, then yes, Notion is great for you. But for a lot of people, that actually is intimidating. So dropping into Notion and just seeing a white page and you have to be the one to figure out what goes in there can be very intimidating. And so for that reason, I think it's really, so many people have Notion templates that are actually really, really cool. So you can actually buy Notion templates. There's even a Notion template marketplace. And then Notion has a lot of free templates as well. And I think those free templates are a good way to get started, getting familiar with Notion. And as you play around with it, you start to create your own things. That is actually exactly what I did. I started using free templates and then just kind of started reverse engineering how some people were making their templates and started coming up with my own stuff. So the answer to your question is you can use Notion for a planner, a vision board, a project management tool. You can use it as journaling. You can use it for keeping up with the books that you read. You can use it for trip planning. You can use it for anything. Honestly, a lot of companies actually use it as their intranet. So they have all of their SOPs in Notion. I actually use it for my business as well. I have all my SOPs in there. And then we have our project plans for all kinds of stuff. We have our marketing plans in there. It's so much. People put employee handbooks in there. You can do literally almost, I mean, I say literally, you can do almost anything in Notion. All right, so I'm gonna head over to this annual review and y'all are gonna get in my business a little bit. I'm gonna go through the first step, which is doing an assessment of my goals. And as you can see here, I have my 2024 goals listed out by status, things that are done, things that are backlogged, things that have been canceled, like, I'm just not gonna do that. It's just not going down. Things that are at risk. And the things that are at risk are things that like I made progress on, but probably not gonna hit the goal by the end of the year. So once a month, I like to come in here and just kind of review my goals for the month. For the year and gauge where they are. I hope you guys can see this. Can you see this really well? I hope you can. Actually, let me close this because that'll make it a little bit easier. Hopefully you guys can see this. And then things that I just didn't start at all. All right, so I'm gonna go through these and I'll start with the goals that I finished. Looks like I finished 7 goals. Can I get some hand claps? Can I get a pat on the back for completing 77 of my goals for 2025? And here's where I want to say, I'll save that comment for later, but I want to share the goals that I actually did complete for the year. I'm not going to do a gap assessment on these goals because there is no gap. These goals were actually done. Thank you for the hand claps. Yay, me. Yay. So one of my goals was to get my property on short-term rental sites. So I wanted to, the property that I'm in right now, some of you may know, my mother owned a place in Tallahassee. She owns a place in Tallahassee. She had her tenant moving out. And so she originally was like, you can rent it out. You can move here and rent it out. Some of you might know I'm like technically homeless. I put my place up for rent. I own a house in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I put it up for rent in April of last year, April 2023, and have just been traveling ever since then. And in November of last year, my mom told me that her townhouse was becoming vacant and that I could move here. And I was like, well, I don't really want to move anywhere right now. Why don't we rent it out? Why don't I put it on Airbnb and we can both make money? This is a college town. So, and there's 2 major colleges here. So I'm like, that's 2 football seasons, that's 2 homecomings, that's 4 graduations a year. At least 4 graduations. Technically, it's 6 graduations a year. So I'm like, listen, we can make some money off this thing. And so at the end of 2023, I set a goal to get this place renovated, decorated, and put up on some short-term rental sites. And I did it. It went live in April of this year. So it went live on Airbnb April of this year, and it did really well, y'all. This did really, really well. We made pretty good money from this. And I will say, I loved making money from a property I don't own. It's called Airbnb arbitrage. When you put a property on Airbnb that you do not own, a lot of people do this with rental properties. Basically, they will rent a property from someone and then put that property on Airbnb. And a lot of times they get agreement from the landlord to do that. But I'm going to tell you the best thing about doing this was sending my mother checks because my mom wasn't making money on this place. the rent that she was getting was not really high. Her best friend's mother was staying here for a little while. And so she wasn't charging her, market rents. So she wasn't really making any money off this place. And so sending my mom checks every month was the coolest thing ever. Like I'm smiling so big because every single time I didn't send her actual checks. I sent her Zelle. I would send her a Zelle payment and then send her an email that said, Mrs. Glover, your payout for this month is this, because we basically split the revenues for the place. So it was really, really cool to be able to do that. I would send her like a little, what is the thing? What is it called? I would send her a screenshot of our P&L, of our income statement for the month, and then send her half of the revenues. And she would call me and be so giddy. And it felt really, really good. So I'm glad I did this. This is one that I checked the box on. Yay, me. Another goal I had this year was to take Christmas photos with my daughter. Let me get back to sharing. So another goal that I had was to take Christmas photos with my daughter. And what did I just do? I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. Another goal I had was to take Christmas photos with my daughter. Super weird, but I I don't even know how to explain this. It's gonna be strange. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like for a very long time, I thought that I thought it would make more sense to take pictures with my daughter once I got married. Isn't that crazy? That's just crazy. Like, I was like, well, when I get married, we'll take Christmas photos. Because for some reason, I had decided that I guess we weren't a complete family yet. And so back in 2020, I was like, what am I thinking? We've been a family since she showed up. I can take Christmas photos with my daughter. I don't know why. I do not know why I had it in my head that I would wait and take Christmas photos until I got married. So anyway, back in 2020, we started taking Christmas photos, and it's become an annual tradition. So I had literally put it, we actually skipped last year. I skipped it last year, so I put it on my goal list for this year to make sure it got done. And it almost didn't get done, y'all. It almost did not get done. I literally took these pictures the day before Christmas. We took our Christmas photos the day before Christmas. So I checked the box on this on this goal just Tuesday. Just Tuesday, we went and took Christmas photos. So I put in here the actions needed, decide on the concept, schedule a photographer, and all that other stuff. I end up not doing the concept that I originally wanted to do. I did something very, very, thank you for saying that. Somebody said it's social conditioning. Don't beat yourself up about it. True. It is social conditioning. And you know something, I saw a lady recently on social media who she started taking Christmas photos by herself. She doesn't have any kids and she's not married. She's single. And she just started taking her own holiday photos. And I was like, yes, ma'am, do it. Like, why do we think we need to have like the husband and 2 kids and a dog to take Christmas photos? Like, who told us that? Nobody actually told us that. It's just what we've always seen, right? And so we've conditioned ourselves to believe that that is what a Christmas photo looks like. And so agreed, social conditioning. Let's keep it moving. All right, so I had this vision. My original vision for the Christmas photos was like these, very high fashion tuxes. I want us both in tuxes, looking very luxe, very luxurious, but also high fashion. And I was like, I don't have the time or the money to pull this off. So last minute, I decided we were going to do some corny Sears photos. We literally went to Walmart last weekend and got Christmas sweaters. And then I rented a studio, took my iPhone. I didn't even hire a photographer. You see on the list, it says hire, schedule a photographer. I didn't even do that. We didn't get our makeup done. We did our own makeup. And I took those Christmas photos with my phone and they came out great. So glad I got that done. That is another box I checked off. I won't put this back on the list of goals because I don't think it needs to be a goal. It's just something that I'm going to do every year. So I don't think it needs to be a goal. I put it there because of the mindset shift. I think I was still in a space where I needed the mindset shift to realize like, this is something we should be doing and we can do it for forever. Even though she's an adult, we can keep doing it. Someone asked, do you set goals for your daughter? Do you set separate goals for your daughter? So That's a good question. You can set goals for yes, I do set some goals for my daughter. And I want to be clear, do you mean things that I need to do for her or with her, or things that she needs to do? My daughter's an adult at this point. So my daughter is 21 years old. So I don't have to set her goals for her. But there are still things that I have to do for and with her. So for instance, um, one of the goals on this list, it was something that she asked to do. She wanted to see the Northern Lights. And so I put that on my goals list. Another goal, a goal that I actually have is to help her buy a house, help her like set up her, how do I explain this? Help her get to the point where she can buy a house, help her get through this program called NACA so she can buy a house. And so that might be something that I put on my goals list because it's something that I want to do for and with her. I think that's completely reasonable. So you said things that you want your son to do. I don't think that there's anything wrong with like creating a goal list for your son. And then your goals can be the things that you need to do to help him reach those goals. But I think um, you can things you want your son to do. I think 'cause since your son's a toddler, these feel like they're your goals. Your goals are to help him do XYZ. So I think if my daughter was a toddler and it was something like I want her to, I don't know, learn how to tie her shoe. This is super simple, but it would be my goal would be to spend time learning, teaching her to tie her shoe. Because as a toddler, they're not really doing a whole lot on their own. All of the things that they're doing, for the most part, involve you. So yeah, you can create. Here's the good thing about goal setting: you can do whatever you want. You get to do whatever you want. This is your life and your plan. But if there was something that I wanted my daughter to do that required me to do something, it would probably go on my goals list. I hope that made sense. And I also want to say everything doesn't have to necessarily be an annual goal. Sometimes goals are just for the month. Like this month, I want to make sure I do XYZ, but this isn't some huge big goal that I am tracking over the whole year. So sometimes I will have goals for the month that aren't part of my annual goals as well. It's just like this is something I need to get done this month or something I really want to do this month as well. So consider that too. All right. So another goal I had was to spend face to face time with two friends every month. So, one of the things that I said when I was brainstorming my goals for the year is I want to spend more time with my friends. How many of you have goals like that? Like, I want to spend more time with friends or I want to spend more time with family? Let me know in the comments. Here's what I'll say about a goal like I want to spend more time with my friends. A goal like that is too broad. It's too vague. It's not specific at all. I want to spend more time with my friends. It's not tangible. It's not measurable. It's not specific. And so I had this overall, I guess, desired outcome to deepen my connections with my friends and spend more time with my friends. But the goal that I set to do that was specific. I want to spend face to face time with two friends every month. Way more specific. So as we're setting our goals for the year, that's something you can consider. If you have goals that say things like, I want to spend more time with my family, what does that mean? Like specifically, what are you going to be doing to spend more time with your family? All right. So I actually set a goal to spend face-to-face time with two friends every month. And I actually did this. I spent a lot of time with a lot of friends this year. And so I'm really, really glad I did that. Someone said I moved to a new state and need to make friends at 47 years old. I will say making friends as an adult is really difficult, partly because everybody has their own cliques. And I realized coming back to my hometown that I don't really have a lot of friends here. And that is not a dig on the people I know. I know a lot of people here. I'm cool with a lot of people here, but I'm not part of any friend groups here. And I realized I used to think it was easy to make friends. And that's because when I look back over my life, every time I've moved to a new city, every time I've moved to a new city, I've been moving with people that were also in transition. And therefore, we were all trying to create connection and we were all trying to build communities and things like that. So when I moved to Atlanta, when I graduated college and moved to Atlanta, so were a bunch of my friends from college. We were all trying to build new lives in that space. And so everybody was really open to creating community together. And then when I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, I moved to Tulsa with a program that brings people to Tulsa from other places. And so those people are open to making the effort to build community. But when I came back to Tallahassee, these people have been living here. Like they already have their communities. And so trying to break into things that already exist has been really tough. All that to say, Kim, I feel you. And I understand. A couple of suggestions for goals would be, I'm going to tell you some of my goals that I have been setting on a monthly basis. So like last month, a couple months ago, I was like, I really want to, rebuild my friendships in Tallahassee. And so I set this goal to spend face time with 2 friends monthly. I was like, twice a month, I'm going to reach out to some of the people that I know in Tallahassee and invite them to brunch or invite them to come hang out at the house or whatever. And then I also set a goal to, whenever I'm in Tallahassee, to go to an event every week. So once a week, I'm going to leave the house. I'm going to go to an event so that I can connect and network and talk to people and make friends and things like that. So that could be a goal for you as well, to go to an event once a month, twice a month, or something like that. And also to consider using some of the friend dating apps. I don't know if anybody's ever used Bubble Friendship before, but it might be some goals for you to kind of lean into finding ways to network with people so that you can build friendships, maybe join some organizations and stuff like that. That might be some goals that you can take on. Somebody said they want to have more face-to-face combos with friends. So this is one that I want to have more face-to-face combos with friends versus just text, audio, and check in more. I think this is one of those things where like, this is a great thing that you want to do, but it's not specific, right? So if you wanted to turn this into a goal for the year or for the month, you could say, I want to have a phone conversation with one friend every week this year, right? I want to call a friend once a week, every week this year. So 52 weeks, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call a friend. So that's one of the ways to turn that into a specific goal. Are you familiar with the 12-week year and what are your thoughts? Yes, I'm familiar with the 12-week year. I read it like 3 years ago. So I don't really have thoughts. I thought it was a good book. I thought it was a really good book. And I still think it's about planning quarters. I don't feel like it's truly about planning your year. It's not like you're going to spend 12 weeks doing everything that you need to do for the entire year and then your year is over, right? I really think it's about doing the same things that I already do to plan my quarters and to stay on track every quarter. That's what I remember the book being. Maybe I needed to read, need to read it again. I don't know. But it really felt more like a book about planning a quarter, to be honest. When it's marked as done, does that mean you achieve the goal every month for the year? In this case, yes. In this case, that is how I set this up. I'm trying to think about different ways to do this going forward. Thank you for asking that question. But in this case, yes, I spent face-to-face time with 2 friends every single month. Yep. All right. So yeah, I'm glad that was helpful for you guys. My friends are super important to me. I've always been really, really big on friendship. And so being able to spend time with my friends, I wanted to be very intentional about how I reach the goal of spending more time with my friends. And this was a good way to do that. And this didn't have to be all of my like close friends. This also helped me deepen some connection with some peripheral friends as well, some people that I'm just cool with, but I got to spend time with them as well. And then another goal I had was to get a business coach or mentor. And I actually just did this like 2 weeks ago. I just got a business coach / mentor, and I'm super excited about it. This was almost not done. This is almost not done, but I finally found the person. I did do this. Let me check that off. So I did do these things. This just got done in the last couple of weeks, and I'm really excited to start working with this person next year. Hire operations manager for quick commuting. So one of my big goals, one of the things that I really wanted to do is get help with running quick commuting, running my business, because I tend to overwork and I really just needed to kind of pull back. At the time, I had a full-time job and I was running 2 businesses. So working full-time as an account director, as an account executive. And then I also ran Quick Commuting, which is a company that helps people find and land remote work, helps teach people how to find and land remote work. And I was also running my personal brand, Labria Jones, which is content creation and, around travel, lifestyle, and productivity and personal development. So I was running two businesses and working a full-time job. And so last year I was like, I need to hire somebody to come in and help me do things with quick commuting. And I did. I hired her. Her name is Quinn Edwards. That's my girl. I hired her early, like Q1. So I got this done early. I didn't play around about this one. This goal got done. And she's been working with me. Maybe I hired her Q2. But anyway, she's been working with me this whole year. And I'm looking forward to the things that we'll do together next year. I just realized, though, that I never bought me and her a box of chocolates like I said I was going to do. So I owe Quinn, if you're watching this, I owe you a box of chocolates. And I owe myself a box of chocolates. One of the things that I try to do is identify how I'm going to celebrate. And that celebration, when you reach those goals, is huge because you need to celebrate even the small things. And I often forget to celebrate, which is one of the things that I did in this case. What I should have done is when I went back and clicked the done button is I should have created a task on my task list to order some chocolates, but I didn't do that. But you should celebrate even the small wins. And every celebration doesn't have to be spending money or anything like that. Some of these you'll see. My celebration is just call a friend and chat about it, right? So just call a friend and tell her about how excited I am about this, and things like that. So the other one I did was, to read 24 books. This is a good example of that. So another goal that I had was to read 24 books for the year. I did do that. And when I reached this goal, it was to have a virtual book recap with my friend who is very, very bookish. She just started a booktube channel. Is that what it's called? So this is whole different world of folks who love books and read a lot of books, Bookstagram, Book Talk, and Booktube. And she just started a YouTube channel reviewing books. She reads a crazy amount of books. She's probably read over 50 books this year, which is wild to me. Over 50 books this year. So I said when I hit this goal, I would call her and just talk about some of the books that I read this year because I'm really excited. And I'm specifically excited to talk about it with her. Let me tell you her channel. Let me find my girl's channel for you right quick. Hold on. Hold on. It's she just started it like a few weeks ago. Let me find it. Where's she at? Where you at, Noelle? I just watched one of her videos the other day. I'm going to have to find this. Oh, I can go to my history, right? I'm completely off task right now, but I don't care. We're finding my friend's channel because we're going to put you on. We're going to put you on to my friend's channel right quick. I wonder if she's probably not watching this right now. View your channel. I can't find it right now. I'm going to have to find it in a few minutes. I'm going to come back to you and I will find it. Noelle. Is it Dash of Noelle? No, these are all not Noelle at all. I'm going to have to go to my history because I don't remember the name of her channel. Somebody said that your actions read the damn books. Right. Pick out some books and read the damn books. That's the things that I need to do. So I did that. I did read 24 books. And then another goal was to launch a live workshop tour for my business. I have a course that teaches people how to find and land remote work. And I wanted to take that course on the road and do a live tour. I've been wanting to do that for a couple of years. And I actually did it this year. I actually completed this. I'll be honest, it didn't go that well. We were planning a 5-city tour and we sold half of the tickets for the first city and we only sold like 2 tickets for other cities. So we ended up canceling the rest of the tour, but it did get launched. And I am one of those people I'm perfectly okay with trying and failing at things. I want to say that it's important that we try things, and failure is not an indication of your character or indication of your abilities. It is information. And so my learnings from that is either I didn't have the right product or I didn't have the right message, right? And so now it's all about taking that back or going back to the drawing board and deciding, is this the right product? And if we do think it's the right product, then how do we do a better job of messaging and marketing it? And so that we can relaunch it. But I'm very glad I tried it. I'm very open to failing, because in my mind, failure is just learning. So people that every time someone says failure is not an option, what I hear is learning is not an option. So hopefully everybody watching is comfortable with trying and failing at things, because we are comfortable with trying and learning things. Hopefully that's my audience. I'm rocking with people that are okay with learning or about to be okay with learning. So anyway, I checked this goal off, but it didn't go well, y'all. It just didn't. It did not pop off. But that one workshop that we did do, the one workshop that we did do in Atlanta was fun. I think I had a room of maybe 15 people, and we had a really good time. By the end of the workshop, it was a 2-day workshop. And by the end of the workshop, they had actually applied for jobs. So I'm looking forward to rethinking about how we approach this model going forward, and if we're going to relaunch it as well. So that was that. So those were the goals that I actually completed. I can check the box and say, yes, Libria did that. And then there's some of the goals that I backlogged as well. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Throughout the year, and especially mid-year, I like to do a review of my goals to decide, is this still important to me? Is this still a priority to me right now? Is this still a goal that I think I want to complete this year, or is feasible for me to complete this year? And if not, I'm going to put it on the backlog. The backlog is basically my someday list. Like one day I'm going to pull this thing, I'm going to wipe the dust off, and I'm going to get back to it. And I love doing this because I want to honor the fact that sometimes we change our mind. We set these goals in December, right? So we're setting our goals for 2025 in December. Come June, I might be a whole different person. And maybe not a whole different person, but my priorities might have changed, right? My environment may have changed. What I'm capable of doing because of the external factors happening in my life may have changed. And therefore my priorities may have changed. And I don't want to beat myself up about not being able to reach a goal that I set 6 months ago that is no longer a priority to me. And so I just want to remind us that we always have the opportunity to change our minds. This is our one and only life. We can do whatever we want with it. And so sometimes these goals pop up and I'm excited about it when we're going into the year, but then maybe at the end of the first quarter, at the end of the second quarter of the year, halfway through the year, it's like, I don't think this is a priority for me anymore this year. I just don't think this is something that I'm going to either be able to accomplish or something I'm not even interested in accomplishing anymore. Right. And so that's what happens with the backlog. It's like, it might not be, it's something I still want to do, but it's no longer something that I think that I want to do this year. So I'm going to bring up a couple of those. One of them was write a Year of Fear book. So there's this thing I've been wanting to do for years now, which is embarking on this Year of Fear where every month I do something that scares me and makes me uncomfortable. I am on this quest to reframe the marketing around fear. I do not think fear is the bad guy. I think fear is our ally. And so I've been wanting to do this exercise around Year of Fear and then write a book about it. Well, I have said I was going to write the book this year, but that means I also have to do the things this year. And the truth is, it's going to take a ton of planning and a lot of money, because a lot of the things require me to really think ahead and also invest time and money in. So some of the things are things like flying a helicopter. I'm very afraid of heights. Some of the other things are like learning to scuba dive. Some of the things are singing in front of a group of people, because I can't sing, y'all. So it's going to take a lot of upfront planning. So this is one of those things I was like, I need to back off of this goal until I can actually properly plan this. And so I put it on the backlog. Did I do a mid-year review on this? Let's see. No, I didn't do a mid-year review on this. So this is one of those goals that got put on the backlog during mid-year. I didn't actually write out the mid-year review here. I think I wrote it somewhere else. But yeah, this is a backlog goal. It might not even, I don't think it's going to make it to 2025 either. It might have to be a 2026 thing. But what I may do is put on my list for 2025 to start planning out my Year of Fear, because this is one of those things I can't just jump into the year and do it. This is going to take a lot of pre-planning for me to do. And then the other one was hiring coaches for quick commuting. So I'm one of the coaches in quick commuting, and I do have some experts in there, but I wanted to start offering one-to-one coaching and allowing people to actually interact with people that aren't just me, because I don't have all the ideas. There are other people with great ideas, right? And great coaching. But the plan was to also allow this to reduce the amount of time that I have to work in the business as well. And so I wrote down some of the actions that I needed. And usually when I'm doing this is just quick actions. Like, this isn't the whole project plan. So, this actually exists in a project plan for quick commuting as well. So this is also on the quick commuting's project plan. And it has very detailed actions that need to happen. I did not do this. I put some notes in here on why. The reason why I actually didn't do that this year is we just didn't make enough revenues to support it, honestly. So as I was going through and, that's a good idea, Thea. Do one fear challenge in 2025. Actually did one in 2023. I did one in 2023. Hold on, let me pause on what I'm talking about here. So that's a good idea. You know something, Thea? I appreciate you saying that, because I actually may be over committing. Like, maybe I need to rethink about how I do this. It doesn't have to necessarily be like, January to December, and it doesn't necessarily have to be 12 months consecutively either, right? So I may need to rethink how I do this. I actually did 1 year. So I tried to start it in 2022, and I did have you guys ever done a flotation? That's basically a sensory deprivation chamber, where you basically go into this pod full of water, very high salinity water, and you just float, and you close the pod as well. It's fully dark in there, it's fully quiet, and you're just there floating. It's actually kind of scary to me because I'm afraid of the dark. I just am. I don't like being in the dark. And then the other thing is, like, just the idea of being stuck in this pod. It's such a good example of how irrational we can be when it comes to fear, because my thoughts were, what if these people lock me in here and like murder me? It's like, girl, how they're probably not able to run a sustainable business if they're murdering people in these pods, sweetheart. I think you'll be fine. But then it's also like, what if the pod locks and I'm just stuck in here, right? So it was such a good example of how irrational fear is. I'm a rational person. I'm a very logical person. And yet, these things were popping up for me. But it's honestly, if you've never done the sleep deprivation chamber, I highly recommend it. I've done it twice. The first time I didn't close the pod, but during my scary thing, my year of fear thing, I actually closed the pod. I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself to close the pod. Close it. It is interesting. It was a little scary. I ain't even gonna fry. It was a little scary to close the pod. And again, a good example of how irrational fear can be, because they told me that if the pod locks, they told me exactly what happens. Like, if you're in for too long, it starts to clean itself. So the pod may lock, and there's a button you can push to open it. And when that happened, I was in there for too long and the pod locked. I couldn't open it. I started tripping just a little bit for like 4 seconds. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And then my rational mind came back and was like, baby girl, push the button like they told you to. So all that to say, I think you might be right. I might be overthinking this as well. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. All right, going back to this, this coaching thing, I actually put a note in here in mid-year, just indicating that our revenues just did not support us being able to bring on coaches, and that it would be something that we would have to consider for next year. So this one got backlogged because I just couldn't afford it, to just, keep it all the way real, keep it 100. Let me go to the next goal. Book Trinidad 2025, y'all. Let me tell you something. I've been wanting to go to Carnival in Trinidad for years, but it was like kind of a dream to take my daughter when she turned 21. So my daughter is Trinidadian. Her dad is from Trinidad. Her father is from Trinidad. We've been on here for 50 minutes already. That's wild. We haven't even made it through all these goals. Her father is from Trinidad. and I wanted to take her to Carnival for her 21st birthday. But this one got canceled because I didn't save up the money. I didn't honestly just didn't save up the money like I was supposed to. I was very fiscally irresponsible this year, to be kind of perfectly candid with you guys. So this one got canceled. If you can see that, I canceled that goal. Okay. I also canceled throwing myself a birthday party for the same reason. I was going to throw myself a birthday party for my birthday. I ended up going to South Florida for my birthday. I ended up going to Fort Lauderdale for my birthday and doing like a solocation, and it was completely free. I booked flights with points. I booked my hotel with points. And the hotel actually gave me a bunch of vouchers for dinner. And then one of my friends ended up sending me $100 gift card to buy dinner. She sent me cash after me $100 to buy myself dinner. So it was a completely free trip for my birthday. So that was actually better than the birthday party. And then seeing the Northern Lights, same thing. I just didn't have the funds to book that trip. And also, actually, the other thing with seeing the Northern Lights is that my daughter started a new job and couldn't take off work. So we couldn't do the Northern Lights, but the plan was to go see the Northern Lights. All right, so let's do a gap assessment of these goals right here. So one of my goals was hey, Trini. Oh, so yeah, we're definitely going to go do Carnival, and we're definitely going to play mass. So my goal is, the thing that I really want to do with her is to play mass together, but also to stay either for a week before or a week after so that she can go and see her father's family there as well. That is the goal. All right, so close my exercise ring 25 days a month. So this is an example of having a desired outcome of wanting to lose weight, but having a goal that you control. So I wanted to lose weight this year. It's still 2024. I wanted to lose weight this year, but I also didn't want to say things like, I'm going to work out more, or I'm going to go to the gym more, or I'm going to lose 35 pounds. And the reason why the goal isn't lose 35 pounds is because I don't control that. My goals are things that I completely control. I can take the action to do the things. My goals are actions that I can take and I completely control. And so closing my exercise rings 25 days a month was a goal, because my goal was to, why 25 days? Yeah. At first I was like, I'm gonna close my exercise ring every day. It should have been 20 days, actually. I think this was supposed to be 20 days because it was 4 days a week. But my goal was to close my exercise rings 4 days a week, every week. So that would have been, well, technically that's really 16 days, just depending on how many weeks. It's weird because like months have 30 days, but they don't always have 4 weeks. Anyway, close my rings most of the month. And I put this at risk because it was up and down. So here's where somebody asked me, do I check it off if it gets done every single month? Do I call it done if it's done every single month? I was thinking about that today. I got to figure out how to represent something like this, because there were some months where I did it and some months where I didn't. So I don't really know how to disposition this for the most part. Like, I don't know, what status to put this at. It wasn't done. I'm not on track. It's also not necessarily at risk. So I don't really know how to disposition this. Excuse me. So as I'm building out my goals for 2025 and this goal tracker for 2025, that is something that I'm trying to figure out. How many months did you close the ring? Good question. Let's do this gap assessment, shall we? So down here, I do an actual gap assessment. Is this goal still important? Why or why not? This is a recurring goal, so it's not really a goal that would necessarily carry over. Someone said that they don't know what close your exercise ring means. Let me come in camera so I can talk to you directly. So Apple iPhones have a activity app on them, and you can put settings in here that allow you to close a ring if you do certain things. So if you stand for a certain amount of time throughout the day, there's this blue ring that closes. If you have movement a certain amount of times a day, so like if you take 10,000 steps and things like that, there's another ring that closes. And then there's an exercise ring. So there's a stand ring, a move ring, an exercise ring, and I think there's like a mindfulness ring or something like that. You guys let me know in the comments. I don't remember what that is. But the exercise ring, you can set it to, if I work out 30 minutes a day, then the ring will close. or you can set the goal in there to burn a certain number of calories. And if you do that, the ring will close. My exercise ring is set to exercising for 30 minutes every day. Thank you for asking that question. So the real answer is, instead of saying close my ring every day, the real truth is I'm saying I'm going to work out for 30 minutes every day. That's what I'm really saying. I hope that answered your question. I hope that made sense, Thea. Okay, let's look at this thing. I'm looking at my app. I wish my phone was connected. Oh, I could probably mirror my screen and show it to you. Y'all would be over here laughing at me trying to fumble and figure that out though, to be honest, to be perfectly honest. Where's my activity app? All right, fitness app. It's called the fitness app. My bad. It is called the fitness app, and I can go to the summary. Oh man, it doesn't give you here. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can mirror my screen on here. It doesn't give you the like a what is the word? It doesn't give you like a number or anything like that. It doesn't say here's like a recap, or at least I don't see it. Here's what I see. I just see all the rings. It'd be dope if I could just see like a recap of the month of the year and it just told me um here's how many you did. And what I was doing for a little while is I would come in here every month and I would post a picture of the rings that I closed. So that's one of the ways that it makes it easier for you to do this review is on a regular basis, come through, drop some notes in your card so that at the end of the year, you're not trying to do what I'm doing right here live on camera, trying to figure out how to summarize. And so I think, yeah, I don't see that. Oh, so it's only 3 rings. I had the 3 rings. Thank you. Move, standing, and exercise. So I had them right. Yeah, I need to figure this out. I need to figure out what the number is. I will tell you, I probably closed my rings. I'd say if I just glance at this, we didn't do well in December. November was shot. November was completely shot. But it looks like I did it for the most part in September, July, June. I killed it in May. May, I killed it. April and March, yes. February and January. So it looks like 3 months I didn't do that. I really do wish that I still had I don't know where my notes went. I actually used to have notes in here where I would post a picture of that every single week or once a month so I can actually see where I was. Um, so the phone tracks your movement, like when it tracks your walking steps. Yes, but I also have the watch, right? And so when I'm working out, I turn on the workout. So in your watch app, there's activity in there too, and you can literally say what activity you're doing. So if I am riding my Peloton, I can turn on the exercise feature to say I am riding my bike, and it's going to count my calories that I'm burning. It's going to track my heart rate and things like that. And that will actually go into the fitness app to say that I worked out for 30 minutes or however long I worked out. It'll track all of that. Or I can also say I was lifting weights, stuff like that. I hope that makes sense. So the phone can track your steps. I don't know how it would track your activity though, because the watch actually is counting your heartbeats, your beats per minute, and calculating calories. And it can see how long. So you can tell it to stop as well, but it can tell when your heart rate goes low enough that you're not working out anymore. So sometimes when I leave the gym, I forget to end my workout, and my watch will be like, "Are you still working out? Because baby, are you?" And sometimes if I'm exerting energy and I didn't turn on my exercise app, like let's say I'm walking around the mall or walking somewhere and I'm walking fast or through the airport, and my watch will be like, "Are you working out? Because your heart beating real fast, baby girl." um, can you add a tracker with checks whenever you did that, so you can see how many days you did it at the end of the month. I don't want to add a bunch of checks just because something is already tracking that. So I don't want to have to also track it. I think it's just a matter of making sure that I actually do go and just update once a month and put the picture of it, so I can see it in the picture. And what I can do is just say, put in the notes that I did it this month. So you can actually write comments in here. Actually, you know what? I think there are comments in here. Am I crazy? I was doing this at one point. Hold on. Let me see if I can put them big. Did I break it? I think I broke it. Okay. Let me cancel that. I don't know. I think there were comments in here before. Hold on. Let me try something else real fast. Getting in the back end. Oh, when I changed the layout of this, it changed as well. If I reset to original page layout, will it come back? Let's see. Oh, I think I have to apply that to all pages. Let's see. Close my exercise ring. Yeah, there they are. So I used to put pictures in here. Oh, you guys can't see this. So I used to put pictures in here. So I think it's a matter of continuing to going back to doing that and putting the actual photos in there. And then I can just say, yes, I did this. So like in May, or in June, I said, I'm so proud of my performance this month. I posted my May performance. I closed my ring 26 days. So I just have to make sure that I'm putting those comments in there. All right. Another goal that I have is to finish my dental work. I have a bunch of dental work that I need to get done. And so the gap assessment there, I didn't finish this. I got most of it done, but a lot of you do know, because you might have seen my video, I lost my job in September. So I also lost my healthcare benefits. And my dental work is my dental work is cosmetic. So it wasn't going to be covered by insurance anyway. So there is a implant that I need to get. I have a broken bridge. So I need to decide if I'm gonna get another bridge, or get an implant. And then I really want veneers so badly, but my 3 dentists have suggested I just do gum lengthening instead of veneers. So those are some of the goals that I've had this year that, I think these ones that are at risk are goals that I have sort of hit. So like I've made progress on. So these will likely be carried over to next year. And then these, I just never started. I want to hit on a couple of these really quickly. We've been talking for a long time, but I want to hit on these really quickly. This one, figure out my spiritual beliefs. I never started this goal because this goal is this is an example of not a goal that is not well structured. Figure out spiritual beliefs is very vague. So the reason why this landed on here is because I've kind of been very lax about religion and spirituality over the last several years, but I've been feeling very drawn to be back into it lately. I'm from the South. I grew up in a very religious household. My dad is a preacher. He became a preacher when I was in high school, but I grew up in a very religious family. And as an adult, I haven't necessarily felt connected to religion necessarily. I still am very connected to some of the traditions in my religion. But I'm in a place where I'm trying to figure out, well, where do I fit? Am I religious? Am I more spiritual? What do I truly believe? And so I wanted to spend some time deep diving into that. But I got really lazy, and all I did was say, figure out spiritual beliefs. There's no specificity there. Like, okay, girl, well, what are you doing? What does that mean? And so this goal just never had legs because I didn't set it up well. I just did not set this goal up well. It should have been something like, join a Bible study, or join a spiritual group, or read 5 spiritual books, or something specific, right? And so that goal just never got legs. I just wanted to share that as an example of why sometimes our goals just don't move forward. It's because it's not specific at all. Like, I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote this goal. I was definitely being lazy. So that was not a good one. And then this one is not started because it's not supposed to be started. This wasn't really a goal. I just put it on this sheet so that I could keep up with it. And this is something that I think everybody should do. Let me come back off camera for a second. I write a letter to myself every year. So December 31st, I write a letter to myself a year from now. And then at the end of the year, I read that letter and then write another one to myself next year. And so that goal is on here. And if you can see this, the letter is actually, I put it here so that I had easy access to it. So I put this goal here so that I can have easy access to the letter. The letter is right there. It says to be read 12/31/2024. I wrote it in Google Drive. And so I am going to go back and read it on December 31st. So I encourage you guys to read your goals this year. Go ahead and not read your goals. Go ahead and write a letter to yourself for next year. It's really a really cool way to like reconnect with your past self and all the hope that you had for yourself and the excitement that you had for the year as well. And to see like, what were you thinking a year ago and where are you now? I think it's a really, really good way to kind of look back and reconnect with, your past self. So I am excited to read this. It hasn't been done because it's not supposed to be done yet. It's supposed to be done on December 31st. So those are my goals. We've been here for an hour. I really wanted to also go through the list of accomplishments that were not on my goal list. I didn't expect to spend so much time going through these, but you guys asked some really great questions and spawned some great conversation as well. But I do want to share a few of the accomplishments that were not on my goal list this year that I'm very, very proud of. One of my, geez, let me drink some water, excuse me. One of my accomplishments this year that I am super proud of is hitting 75K in revenues for my personal brand. I landed some really great contracts this year. Oh yeah, my friend's book club channel. Let me message her. Hold on, let me message her right quick. People asking for her channel name. Let me send her a note. Hey, what's your YouTube channel name again? I'm on a live and I mentioned it and folks want to follow. All right. She'll message me back in just a second. Anyway, so I hit 75,000 in revenues for my personal brand. I got some really good brand partnerships this year. And I got a really big brand partnership with a company that I've been working with for a while, just because I really like them. And a lot of creators are like, don't work for free. I've actually spoken at events for them for free. I'm just like, hey, fly me out. Yeah, let's hang out. And they came back around and offered to do a long-term deal with me. So we had a brand deal for this year, and then we have a brand deal for next year as well. And I made quite a bit of money from that relationship. So that's a huge accomplishment for this year. Another accomplishment that I would call out, and I think it's really important. Let me break in to say this as well. I think it's important to also list out your accomplishments that weren't on your goal list, because a lot of times we ding ourselves from not checking every box that we wrote down a year ago. And we miss out on celebrating some of the wins that we had that we didn't even expect to have. And so I like doing this exercise because we get to celebrate the things that we didn't even expect to be wins. So another accomplishment is I launched a weekly newsletter. I have been wanting to do this for years. I've been talking about doing this for years. And I think the week of my birthday, I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to sit down and write this newsletter. And I have literally sent a newsletter out every week since then. The last one just went out today. It's called Some Things on Sunday. And it's just random thoughts, some random thoughts and random things I'm contemplating, things I've learned, things I just think are shareable, are share worthy, I should say. And so I launched a weekly newsletter this year that I'm super excited about. Another accomplishment for the year that I think is share worthy, or something that I should write down. I actually wrote these down somewhere. I put my notepad somewhere. I actually did this before this conversation so I could have them. Oh, how can you sign up for my newsletter? Good question. Let me get you a link to do that. Great question. Let me find a link for you to do that. But the newsletter, it goes out once a week on Sundays. And again, it's so random. It's literally just, it's honestly me talking to my audience. Like like we're in the living room together. Like, girl, let me tell you something that I just realized about myself. So it's kind of like that. But I'm glad that I launched it. I I think I'm going to keep it up for a while. I'll at least keep it up through the end of Q1. I hope that it kind of morphs into. No, I like it. I like it the way it is. I was about to say I hope it morphs into something um more. I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say. I think a lot of times we think that everything has to be something that's making money or something that's, you know, part of our business and our brand. And I keep trying to convince myself that this needs to be branded, right? Like I need to brand this thing and make it part of my business. I don't know that I want to do that though. I like that this is really just an outlet to share thoughts. And I love that people respond to my emails and we end up being pen pals basically. I'll share some thoughts on something and then somebody will share their thoughts on it. And now we're emailing each other back and forth, old school, about our thoughts on a topic. And so I'm really, really glad I did that. Oh, this person's on my email list. Girl, that was hilarious. I was so embarrassed. He was so fine too. God, he was so fine. I almost had a moment, like I told you in the email. So she's talking about, I shared a story of while I was in Joburg, walking down the street, I saw this guy getting out of a car and he was so fine. And I was just waiting. I started slowing down so he could get out of the car. And like in my head, we had this whole movie moment where like I locked eyes with him, he locked eyes with me and asked me where I was going. And I said to lunch, I was going to say something and he was going to say something, debonair and smooth back. And next thing you know, we're on a date. And next thing you know, we're getting married. Like all of that flashed before my eyes. And then I slipped and almost bust my whole face open and did not make eye contact with him again. And I just kept walking. But that's the kind of stuff that goes in the newsletter. I'm mad you brought that up. That is hilarious. But there's the link to the newsletter if you guys want to sign up for it. Oh man, Noelle hasn't responded to me yet. Some other accomplishments that I had this year, I'm thinking September. Oh, I got a brand ambassadorship for a healthcare company that I'm really, really excited about. That was really cool. That's an opportunity that came out of nowhere for me. And then another accomplishment is bringing on an editor. So getting more consistent with YouTube is something that I've really been wanting to do. And it's easier to do that if you have some help because editing videos is a lot of work. And so I end up bringing on an editor last month to help me edit videos, which I think is a huge accomplishment as well. And then I'm trying to think, I'm just sitting here like going back through my months, December, November, October. Oh, I just had an amazing launch, guys. I just did a special offer launch for my business. And it's so crazy. So when we talked about failure, let's go back to this whole failure thing. I did this launch, this special offer launch for Quick Commuting to help people find and land remote work last week. I did it last week. I did the same exact launch this time last year. So I did this launch last year. I sold 0. Not now person signed up. When I tell you not now person signed up, not now nobody signed up. I did this whole marketing push for 30 days. Was it 30 days? 15 days or something like that. Did this whole marketing push, then held a webinar for people to come to the webinar and learn about what I was doing. Nobody bought it. Literally nobody. Didn't make one sale, y'all. People barely even clicked this to go look at the site. And so here's another example of where I tried something and failed at it, completely failed. Like that ain't even like, that's a failure. So I took that and was like, well, what did I do wrong here? So same thing that I said before, is it the wrong product or is it the wrong messaging? I didn't think it was the wrong product because what I was offering was things people have been asking me for. People have consistently asked me for more coaching, more time with me, more guidance and more instruction. And so this was that packaged up basically in a 6-week challenge, in a 6-week program, basically. And so I knew that it wasn't the product. It had to be the messaging. It had to be how we were marketing it and how we were sharing the value that it provides. And so I ended up signing up for a boot camp a month ago and went through this boot camp, and it was completely mind blowing, like completely changed the way I thought about marketing this thing. Y'all, last time I spent 20 days basically begging people to buy this thing. 15 or 20 days last year, didn't sell one. This time, I spent 5 days telling people that I was going to do a special offer, and they had one day to buy it. One day, I went begging nobody to do nothing. And that one day, people were begging me to buy it. People were hawking me down trying to buy the upgrade. I can't figure out how to get the upgrade. My link's not working. I ended up selling $25,000 worth of this special offer. I ended up making $25,000 in one day. Last year, I made $0 on this same exact thing. And this year, I made 25 on it. My goal was to sell 10 slots. I sold 32. Listen, so when I say failure is not a indication of who you are at all, it is a learning opportunity, I mean it. Completely failed last year. And I took that as a learning opportunity because I was like, it has to be the marketing. It can't be anything but the marketing because the product is right. So let me go figure out how to market this thing better. And I'm very excited about executing on that. So that actually launches next month. Yeah, thank you. Listen, I am floored. The boot camp is crazy. So the boot camp is something that he offers every once in a while. He doesn't offer it very often. So Shonda, I'm trying to figure out how I can tell you to get on his email list. Let me find his Facebook. Find him on Facebook, because that's the place that I feel like I see him the most. Yeah, find him on Facebook. And let's see, copy that. I'm gonna drop the Facebook link. Hopefully you guys are seeing these links. No, his name is Thomas Stovall. Hopefully you guys are seeing these links. He might be Mr. Mogul Shy on Instagram, Mr. Mogul on Instagram as well. Thomas Stovall. I think the business is called Online Luminary. I think that is what the business is called. Trying to figure out how you can get on his email list. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Here's his LinkedIn. I'm gonna give y'all as much information as I can. Here's his LinkedIn. There you go. Thomas K. Stovall. He is out here killing the game. Is this his website? Mindset to Money? Oh, I think this might be the website. I think this is something else that he's offering right now. I'm sorry, I'm doing research and talking to y'all at the same time. Okay, so yeah, that was a huge accomplishment, huge unlock. I'm so glad that I took that as a learning opportunity and not as an opportunity to give up. Okay, so just as a reminder, sometimes we fail at things, sometimes things don't go well, but it doesn't mean that you are a failure. It doesn't mean that you aren't good at something. It just means that you may need to reassess that thing. Do I need to do something else? Do I need to pivot? Or do I need to do this in a different way? And in this case, I needed to do this in a different way. And I'm very, very proud of how that turned out. And I am proud of the work that I put in to do that. I'm not even going to be modest about that. I put a lot of work, and I learned a lot in that boot camp. And so I put a lot of time into learning a lot during that boot camp. And I'm so glad that it was successful, that it worked out. All right. And then the last step, I'm going to just skip over to the last step, and I'll answer just a couple of these questions because I said I was going to just stay on for an hour and a half, and we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes at this point. I'm just going to answer a couple of these questions. So these journal prompts are journal prompts that I shared in my videos. What are some things you did really well this year? What are some of your best moments this year? I like reflecting on these things because it helps you understand yourself better and the circumstances under which you're happiest, feeling most fulfilled and things like that. And I think that this really helps identify goals that are important. Some of my best moments this year, I Actually, where's the question? Where's what did you do? Oh, what I did really well this year. I think what I did really well this year was take advantage of opportunities that came my way. This was a year of opportunities. Like somehow I got some of the craziest opportunities dropped in my lap this year. A couple of examples are twice, no, once I was asked to run a trip to Cape Verde. One of my friends runs a travel business and she was like, hey, can you come run a trip to Cape Verde? Sure, why not? Free trip to Cape Verde, but also I got paid to go on that trip. Another opportunity popped up for me to do this brand ambassadorship. I was already doing a brand partnership with this healthcare company, and they asked me to be a brand ambassador, which is something totally different. It's more internal marketing, where like you speak at their sales events, you might do photo shoots for their internal brochures and stuff like that. And so they were like, they said that they normally don't mix the two. Their brand ambassadors are usually not the content creators they work with, but they liked my content so much and they liked how excited I was about the brand and they liked my backstory that they wanted. So they wanted me to also be a brand ambassador. And they were like, we typically don't do the two together. We usually do some people for content and some people for brand ambassador. And so that opportunity popped up. And then I also got asked to speak at a remote work event in Oklahoma. I got asked to speak at something else. And then I got invited. Listen, this was so random. And I'm like, what? I got asked. So I've been talking to one of my friends for years about helping her build out her operations for her business. I want to offer fractional COO services, Chief Operating Officer services, because I love operations. And she was like, well, let's get started. Let's go ahead and get started next month. We can only do like, let's do something fractional, maybe 5 to 10 hours a week. Literally 2 weeks after I said yes to her, she hit me up and was like, hey, are you free the third week in November? And I was like, yeah, why? She was like, well, there's this networking event not networking event. There's this conference in Joburg that my business needs to be represented at. And since I can't go, I would like to send another executive. And since you are the COO, I would like to send you. I'm sorry, what? What? And so I think that just being flexible and open to taking opportunities, and not just open to taking opportunities, because we all know that sometimes when things like that come up for us, we have like this little bit of angst and little bit of fear and little bit of like nervousness around it. Like, is this really for me? Like, should I really be doing this? And who the hell do I think I am? Like, I literally was thinking that, like, who do I think I am right now? This conference was in a sphere and a space that I had never been in. So it was all about organizations that are trying to outsource some of their operations. So you guys know, long time ago, companies started outsourcing customer service to Asia, right? To like the Philippines and stuff like that, and to India. Well, companies are trying to, or South Africa is trying to get people to do that there, right? To bring their customer service outsourcing to South Africa as well. And so that's what this conference was all about. And I was like, this is an industry I have no experience in. I've never had conversations about this. Now, I have worked in customer service. I started my career in customer service, but I was like, I'm kind of out of my depth here. Like, what am I supposed to be? How am I supposed to? But, and I think we all have those feelings of like, am I in the right room? How did I get invited here? Like, how is this a thing? And one of the things I think I did really well was not shy away from any of these opportunities and just step up to the plate and say, there's a reason why this opportunity landed at my doorstep, right? Whether I think I'm ready for it or not, the universe does, God does, because it showed up here. And so I'm going to step into it and figure it out as I go. So it was y'all, completely all expense paid. I didn't pay a dime to be in Joburg. The only money that I paid, I did pay for some things while I was there, but that was only because I came extra days to hang out with friends, to hang out with some friends. But that's something I did really well this year. Some things I did not do well this year. Some things I did not do well this year were, I keep getting be receptive, be open to how things are going to happen. Yes. I think it's important to be open and to be receptive and kind of go with the flow a little bit. You can't control everything. And when you let go of that control, like your hands are open to receive as well, right? Some of the things I did not do well this year was spending. I overspent like crazy this year. Like I was out of control. I was out here spending money like I'm a mob boss's wife. And I think it really hit me when I did that video about how much money I made on the side from my side hustles. If you guys haven't seen that video, I did a video on how once I lost my job, I was okay because I made so much money on side hustles. But when it hit me how much money I made last year on top of my salary, I was like, where is this money? Where it at? So one of the things I did not do well this year is stick to my financial goals, paying off debt. That was a huge goal of mine. And I definitely overspent last year. Like I ain't even gonna hold you. Your girl was out of control this year. I think it's more than like beyond undisciplined. It was out of control. And then I think the other thing that I didn't do well this year was um, really, really take my fitness goals seriously. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's why I paused because it's not like it wasn't serious. I feel like I didn't work hard enough. Now I feel like I didn't work hard enough. Some of you may have been on the live that I did. I did a Sunday session with my nutritionist and we talked about this very thing. We talked about a conversation she and I had where I was like, I shouldn't have to work so hard. And she was like, you don't. But if you want the goals that you have, if you want these body goals that you have, you are going to have to work hard. And so I think there were times where I'm working hard, I'm good, I'm checking all the boxes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do for like 3 weeks at a time, and I ain't got a six pack, and so I'm pissed off. So I think I spent a lot of time being belligerent about the fact that I felt like my body wasn't changing fast enough. And so I would kind of rebel against the process, which like who am I rebelling against? Like it's only hurting me. I'm only hurting myself. And so I kept feeling like I shouldn't have to work this hard. I should look different already. And I wasn't just leaning into the process fully and making it a lifestyle change. It was always, it's kind of like, have you guys ever seen any of those reels where people like do some crunches? Like they're like, after my workout, I go to the mirror to see if I got abs yet. It was kind of like a version of that. Like I'm working out for 3 weeks. Am I fine yet? And then if I'm not, I'm rebelling against the process and completely backing off. And that sounds silly. Saying it out loud sounds silly as hell. But when you're in it and doing it, you're not thinking about how silly this is, right? These are just the behaviors. So this is me looking back at those behaviors, being like, girl, that was stupid. This is what you were doing. You may not have realized at the time that that's what you were doing, but that is what you were doing, and it's silly. So that is something I did not do well. Somebody said they sabotaged their progress a few times. I definitely did that. I definitely did. I made so much progress the month of May. May was probably my best month. I made so much progress and then came back from my trip and felt like that's the other thing. I deserve to take a break. I deserve to do XYZ. Girl, you deserve to keep your word to yourself. You deserve to trust the process. You deserve to see this thing through and hit the goals that you have. That's what you deserve. I deserve to not have to go to the gym every day. Like, what? Who told you that? Where'd you get that from? So that's something I don't think I did very well this year. And then the other question that I'll answer on my list of general prompts before we roll out of here is, if you could only focus your energy in one life category for the next year, what would it be and why? Let me know in the comments what yours would be. If you could only focus in one category, I'm gonna remind you of the categories. They are finance, health, career or business, development, relationships, and lifestyle. If you could only focus in one of those categories this year in 2025, what would it be? Oh, girl, thank you for checking back in. She has not messaged me. I feel like I'm just gonna have to call her or something. Should I call her? Should I call her on the live? If you had to focus in one of these categories for the year, what would it be? Let me know. I'm gonna tell you what mine is. I feel like we should call Noelle and find out what her channel is. I could just look it up. I can't figure out how to get to my history. We calling her. Let's see if she answers the phone. She's so cute. Look at her. Ain't she cute? That's my friend. Someone said career. Someone said health. Hey, friend, how you doing? I'm good. I'm on a Facebook Live right now, and I mentioned your YouTube channel. Not a Facebook Live, a YouTube Live. And I mentioned your YouTube channel, but I couldn't remember the name of it. And people are asking me what your YouTube handle is so that they can follow you. And I messaged you, but you didn't respond. So they were like, call her. She said, hi, y'all. That's what I thought. Okay. Okay. I was right, guys. I'm going to send it to you. Okay. Thank you. Bye. It's Dash of Noelle. I put that in the search. It didn't come up. It's Dash of Noelle, DASH, and it's Noelle with 2 L's. Let me find it. I'm gonna find it and link it to you real quick. Oh, is that why? No, that's not her. That says A Dash of Noelle. That's not her. I don't like it. I don't like what's happening right now. I just got some responses that aren't her. Dash of Noelle YouTube. Y'all, listen. I see Noelle Randall. I see Noelle Kate. Oh, here it is. I found it. Finally. Finally found it. Here it is. There you go, guys. Go follow my friend. She's so sweet. There's the link. Okay, let's go back because we were talking about something. We were talking about what category would you focus in? If you could only focus in one category next year, what would that category be? And a lot of you said finances. Somebody said health. Somebody mentioned asthma issues. Yeah, I don't eat a lot of dairy. And you're right. Dairy does impact asthma. I've done Whole30 like 5 times. And I realized that I had a lot less asthma attacks when I wasn't eating dairy. So I actually don't eat a lot of dairy. But I have very bad chronic asthma. I've had it since I was 3. And it got really, really, really bad when I was in elementary school. And then I got hospitalized for it. I used to get hospitalized for it a lot. And then part of it is environment. My pediatrician said I also have a lot of scar tissue on my lungs now. So it's always going to be a challenge for me. Like my asthma is just never expected to get better. It's just a matter of trying to maintain it. But I don't eat a lot of dairy. And you're right, it does affect inflammation. I feel like I'm wheezing right now, to be honest with you. Okay, you guys got it. All right, so finances. Somebody said health. Tell me why you want to focus on health. Why is health your one focus next year? Tell me why. I will tell you what mine is. If I was going to only focus in one category next year, it would be finances. Because like I said, it's been out of control. And finances has been a challenge for me my whole life. I am very indulgent. I'm a very indulgent person. And what's crazy is I don't buy a lot of stuff. I don't like a lot of things, actually. I don't have a lot of clothes. I don't have a lot of shoes. I buy a lot of experiences. So I spend a lot of money on traveling, on eating out, on entertainment and stuff like that. That is where pretty much all my money goes. And so the thing that I am going to be focused on most is finances. And I am going to do something next year that I think is going to be a bit drastic. I'm going to call it drastic. Because one of the things that I have been thinking about is how do I explain this? I'll say in 2022, and I shared this in a video, there's a video where I talked about the things that I did in 2023 that had me thriving in 2024. In 2022, the end of 2022, my confidence was at a low I hadn't seen in a very long time. Like my confidence, my self-esteem was like super low. And when I sat down and really thought about why, it's because I was messing with this dude, y'all. Messing with this dude I had no business messing with. No business messing with. And we had a casual relationship. Just leave it at that. And he was an F boy for sure. And I know that a lot of my activity, my actions towards him and including him had less to do with him and more to do with me wanting to be validated. And so when I rolled into 2023, somebody said, every time I choose one area, it feels like the others are looming over me. It's okay. You can still focus on all the areas. The only question is, if you could only focus on one, what would it be? The good news is you can focus on whatever you want. You can make progress in every single area. It's just about identifying which area is going to be my primary focus, what's going to be my priority, right? And it is tough because all of these categories lead to life fulfillment, right? All right, so back to my story time. So in 2023, I decided I was going to abstain from sex. I was like, we're not going to be in any situationships. Like, I'm not going there unless I am in a relationship. So all of 2023, your girl was celibate for all of 2023. And to me, that felt drastic. For me, that felt like something drastic. And so 2023, that's what I did. And then coming into 2024, my drastic thing that I cut out was fast food. I came into 2024 and I was like, you know what? Makes me feel like crap. I always feel like crap after I eat fast food. Anytime I go mess around and go to McDonald's or Taco Bell or Chick-fil-A, I feel like crap. And then I remembered that every time I spent time with that dude, I felt like crap afterwards. And so I stopped doing that. And so I was like, you know what? In 2024, I'm going to stop eating fast food because it makes me feel like crap. And so going into 2025, the thing that makes me feel like crap is maxing out my credit cards and paying so much interest and being in so much debt. I feel out of control. And I'm spending so much money on it. Like, the amount of money that I pay on interest in these credit cards every month I could have a really nice car, and I don't even care about really cars. I don't want a car, to be honest with you, but I could have a really nice car for the amount of money. Actually, let's do something relevant to me. The number of flights I could book with the money that I'm paying in interest. And it makes me feel, to be honest, it makes me feel shitty to donate money to these banks. They don't need this money. I'm donating it. I need this money. And so I think my, what is the word? I think my kind of, what is the word I'm looking for? I just said the word. I think my dramatic change for 2025, since this has now become kind of a tradition for me. So in 2023, it was sex. It was abstinence. I'll say it that way. In 2023, it was abstinence. In 2024, it was fast food. I think it's going to be credit cards in 2025, which is tough to do. Drastic. That's the word I was looking for. My drastic change for 2025 will be not using my credit cards. And to be honest, I kept trying to push back on this when I first came up with it, because I'm like, I'm going to be losing out on so many points and so many perks from using my credit cards. And I got these credit cards to play the points game. That was the whole reason why I got the credit cards, so that I could play the points game. Like, you spend all this money and you're not getting anything for it. So if I put it on my credit cards, I can get flights, I can get cash back, and it's been beneficial. Actually, last year, I bought all the Christmas gifts for my nieces and nephews using points. So I didn't spend any money on Christmas last year, but I got the credit cards to play the points game, and I've been playing myself. So yeah, I know that, but I'm not doing it is the point, L. That I'm not doing that is the point. I can't be trusted, friend. I have not gotten the discipline. I have not gotten disciplined enough to do that. I got the credit cards so I could do that very thing, and I have not been doing it. And so I think I just need to lay off of using my credit cards and just pay them down. I will spend 2025 just paying them down until I get to the point where I am disciplined enough to actually use the card. So this is one of those things where I say, know yourself. And this is why it's important to kind of go through these. It has been a goal. Here's the challenge. It's so easy to say, make it a goal. It's been a goal for a long time. This is a challenge for me, right? And so this is why I think it's important to go through this journaling exercise and truly know yourself and understand yourself. And right now, I don't have the discipline for that to be a goal, period. I do not have a discipline for it to be a goal to use my cards and pay them off. So the only goal that I think I have the discipline for right now is not using the cards at all and just paying them down. That is the goal because it's actually affected my credit score and it's affecting my available cash because I'm paying interest. And I think we say things, I mean, I think you're right, right? The idea is to, set the goal to just pay them off. Sounds easy. That was the goal 3 years ago when I got the cards. And I have not met that goal. And so this is where you do that assessment. You look at those goals, you look at your actions, and you say, what should I be doing differently? Because the system that I had before is not working. Is there something else I can help with? Child, nobody talking to you. And so the system that you had in place, if it's not working, you need to change the system. And you have to be honest with yourself. And so this is one of this is one of the places where I am being very honest with myself. Sure, I could have a goal to pay off my cards and continue to use them, but I've done that before and it has not worked. So it's time to do something different. And for me, it's time to do something drastic. So appreciate you, but I ain't gonna do that. Maybe 2026. But I think that I need to be very, very serious. Like I need to take it very seriously before I end up in a place where all of my cards are maxed out. Somebody said that theirs is credit card balance payment focused as well. Now, I will say I've done a lot. I've made a lot of progress fiscally, financially. I'm not where I used to be. I am way more financially disciplined than I used to be a long time ago. But I think the fact that I've reached a point where I had a really high salary, so I was making really good money, and then I was making a lot of money on the side. I think that basically put me in a position to be undisciplined all over again. Like, oh, well, I got money, I can spend it. And so I think I've not been strategic, I've not been disciplined. And so I just need to get back to being disciplined. And then I'll go play with these credit cards and set those goals. So getting a consolidation loan, excuse me. I don't like the snowball effect. I think the snowball effect is good for people that need to be motivated to pay down debt. I'm already motivated to pay down debt. I've been paying down debt. And this, if in case you don't know what the snowball effect is, the snowball effect is you pay down your debt that is the smallest. You pay down the smallest debt first. I don't want to approach it that way because I want to get rid of the highest cost. For me, I want to reduce the cash that is going out of my accounts. So my focus is on reducing debt that is the highest cost. So there's two ways that you can do debt payments, or two strategies for getting out of debt. One is the snowball effect, and that is paying down the smallest debt first, and then taking that money and putting it to the next smallest amount of debt and the next smallest amount of debt. And I think that makes a lot of sense for someone who needs to be motivated by achieving something, right? So you achieve something and you're like, yes, I did that. Now I can do something else. But mathematically, it doesn't make sense. Mathematically, for me, it makes sense to focus on the debt that costs the most because that will increase my cash flow more. And so that's the focus that I have. Do you have a Notion template for your annual goal setting and review? I don't have a Notion template for it, but I did create a Google Docs template for it. And so I shared that in a few videos. If you click on any of that's what it was, the avalanche method. Yeah. So the avalanche method is the one that I prefer, where I am tackling the highest cost first. And both of them make sense just depending on your situation and what you need. Some people need to be motivated by achievement. I don't. I've been paying down debt all year. In fact, actually, I didn't show you guys that card, but I've paid down quite a bit of debt. Let me see if I can show you that card right quick. I can't believe we're still talking. You guys are so cool. You're still hanging out with me, and I appreciate it. Let's go to that card. Get out of debt. So I had to get out of debt card for this year. And if you can see this, So these are the cards that I need to pay off, the things that I need to pay off. I had 6 things to pay down. I paid down half of them, right? So I don't need to be motivated to pay down debt. And I think that that is the snowball method is great for people that need to be motivated by the achievement. I am motivated by the numbers and the math. So my focus is on the highest cost debt first. But no, it's, I mean, you don't, it's both of them are good options. It's just a matter of which option works best for you, your and what your goals are, what's most important to you. So I don't have a Notion template for the annual goal setting and review. I did put together a template for Google Sheets that I shared in a couple of videos. I can see if I can grab that for you from one of my previous videos. Let me go there. Hopefully it doesn't start playing all out. Let me go there and grab it, and then I will drop it here. Oh, I made a Bitly link. I should remember that. There you go. But I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Oops. Hopefully that link works. That looks really weird. That looks really, really weird. 2025 planning playbook. Here it is. bit.ly 2025 planning playbook V1. There it is. Thank you. I don't know what you're congratulating me on, but thank you. What is it that I paid down 3 of the 6, half, 50% of my debt? If that is it, thank you. I appreciate it. I will tell you, like, candidly, I paid down 2 credit cards and then maxed them out again. Like, what are you doing? So all that to say, finances is something I didn't do well at all this year. It's something that I think I just got undisciplined. Because I had a financially, like, from an income perspective, I had a really good year. I made really good money this year, and I was out here spending money like I move weight. I was out here spending money like I run a cartel or something. A hot mess. Anyway, we're gonna pull it together. We're gonna pull it together next year. I promise I'm gonna make you proud when we do this, have this conversation again next year. I will have a whole different story to share about my finances. I think that this is the year that I finally, like, get to the point of being fiscally fit in the way that I've always wanted to be, because I know how to be. In fact, like, my MBA focuses in finance. I used to want to be a personal finance person, like the Black Susie Orman, or basically Tiffany Aliche, who is my friend. I used to want to do that for a living. And if you guys ever read the Confessions of a Shopaholic series, I'm basically like her. Like, I can give really great financial advice. I know what to do. It's a matter of executing it. And a lot of it is basically trying to make concessions for my natural tendencies. I have a natural tendency to indulge. And so a lot of it is trying to figure out how to, kind of rein that stuff in. Mm-hmm. Somebody said, I'm still trying to figure out my financial triggers. One of them is restriction. Yes. So I think finance is very, very behavioral, right? And it's really about trying to figure out, like, what your triggers are, what are your behaviors, what is your personality, and things like that, and trying to work around those things. And I will say, I know I'm talking about how bad I was this year, but I am so much better than I used to be. I actually did. If you guys follow Adelia, Picky Girl Travels, she has a YouTube channel as well. She and I did a live session together where I talked about some of the stupid financial things that I've done throughout my life and some of the huge mistakes that I've made over the years financially. And I tend to be pretty candid about that. I am okay with being candid about that. It's something that I have to work harder on because I'm an indulgent person. Anyway, I joined your paid community yesterday. Do you still have a season? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Thea. I'm sorry. A session tomorrow. Oh, okay. No, we're not having any sessions this week. We're off. I don't think I have a session tomorrow. Your trips and showing experience is part of your brand. That is so inspiring. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Martisha. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. We talked for a very long time. We kicked it hard today. I hope you guys are enjoying reviewing your year, and I hope you guys are enjoying setting your goals for next year and setting yourselves up for success next year. And I hope that a couple things. I hope that you are being very specific about what your goals are. And so if we're talking about spend more time with family, narrow that down and say what that means. Okay. So if spend more time with family is going to be like, we're going to have family night once a week or once a month, say something like that. The other thing that I hope that you take away is set goals that are things that you control and not things that are external to you. The other thing is, let's not be afraid of failure in 2025, right? Failure is just learning. Every time you feel yourself leaning towards the word fail, just replace it with learn, and it'll be so much easier, right? I'm afraid to fail. But are you afraid to learn? So just replace the word fail with learn. Moving forward, let's just learn from the things that we're doing and trying. And then the other thing that I want to call out is that we've got to be honest with ourselves. You guys, I got my self-esteem about some of the financial mistakes that I've made. And I think that it's important that we are super honest with ourselves about our abilities, our performance, how well we've done with things. And if we say we are trying to do something, the question is, are you really trying though? Right? You have to ask yourself, am I really trying? And do I just need to try something else? Do I need to change how I think about this thing and try something different? And all of January, I'll be talking about and sharing content on how to turn these goals into actual actions and systems. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for that. And y'all have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye, y'all.